Hey everybody, I wanted to show you a couple things in the greenhouse real quick before I go outside. There are these handouts for the yard long beans and the husk cherries in this bag, and I'm going to leave them sitting here so you can see that. When you harvest those two things, just take out one of those little slips of paper and put it in the bag with it so that people know what they are and what to do with it. The other thing in here, I just started some soil blocks today. Make sure whenever you're here next week to use the mist function or the mist setting on the hose and give them a good spray just on the top, because we want to keep that moist so that they germinate. Now if the whole block, like you can see the blocks look really moist from top to bottom, if the soil blocks are looking dry on the bottom, we also need to water them. So with that, you can just use, let me see what setting. Yeah, maybe just the center setting and just put some water right along the sides of the trays. And then if you, there'll be water on the sides, and then you can just kind of like, oops, I just put that. You can just kind of dump it or like tip it to the side so that the water will trickle all the way through. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if there are any questions about that. Also, we want to make sure that these stay watered. I'm probably going to try to plant some of these outside next week. Okay, so for outside, in terms of harvesting, I did want to show you guys there are 3 beds of these yard long beans, and you want to harvest them when they're about 18 inches long. This one is pretty much almost there. I mean, I didn't harvest it today, so it'll still be there next week. But you want to harvest, let me see if I can show this here. Okay, so you want to harvest right down here where my fingernail is, right there. Because you can see right here in the end is where the new beans will come from. So you want to make sure that you don't cut, oh, and look, I just broke that off. You want to make sure that you don't cut this part off where new beans will grow. So just kind of cut it right there. Also, if you find any, I'll show you some because I just saw it earlier. If you find any that have grown too big, like in here, these were obviously, no, I didn't see these. These are like giant, and they're really thick and kind of like the like texture isn't great on the outside. Although there are these little beans on the inside. But anyways, just put these in the compost. I have sprayed, especially this one, bed 17, the one with the red beans. It seems to have more aphids than the other beds, and I've been spraying it. I don't know, I think it's gonna just kind of be like a constant battle. And I did pull out one of the beans on the end because it seemed to be really infested with aphids. So we'll see what happens there. Also, bed 19 and 20, you'll notice have this like white cakey or like powdery substance on them. That's because I'm trying to treat them. It's this natural clay, and it's supposed to kind of help protect naturally from insects. I don't know if it'll work. Something I want to try. So if you harvest from these, like if it hasn't rained and it's still all powdery and we harvest, then we'll need to just wash off the beans before we pack them up. So the cowpeas are something that we can start harvesting. I've harvested a few things. I want to show you a good one. Let's see if I can see one. This is a pretty good one right here. You can see that the pod is starting to plump up. So similar to for the other beans, you want to harvest like right where it meets right here, because at the tip is where new beans will form. So just look for the really plump ones. I mean, even this, like, that'll probably be good to pick next week. And they haven't come on really strong yet, so you might not get a ton, but I just have been putting them in the little Ziploc bags. And same over here. So I think we can start harvesting the edamame. Again, this is going to be like, it might have this white powdery substance on them. But the beans look pretty full. Because that's what it said. Look for the pods that look pretty full. And I can always harvest these too. I'm going out of town. I'll be out of town Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'll be back, and I'll be here Thursday, Friday next week. But you can see these are looking pretty good. I mean, let's just wait until the end of next week, because maybe we'll see if they plump up a little bit more. But they're looking pretty good. Bed 21 and bed 15. I pulled the cucumbers out because they were looking awful. I want to top these beds up with soil before we plant anything else. And also bed 16 we'll need to top up, but that's not as low as these two, so I want to do these two first. 15 and 21 first. I'm going to leave this wheelbarrow and a shovel in the shed so that you can easily just pull it out of there and you don't have to worry about going back into the seed closet. And let me show you back here, we still have dirt left over. So what I want to do is I want to mix equal parts, as much as we can, dirt, and then I have vermiculite and peat moss. So if you bring the wheelbarrow back here, you could put in, 2 scoops of dirt, 2 scoops of peat moss, 2 scoops of vermiculite, and obviously the vermiculite we don't have much of, so you'll probably only be able to do that like 2 or 3 times. But try to get an equal proportion of each and do that for as long as you can. And then pretty soon you're just going to run out of these two, which is fine. And then we'll just use up this dirt to top up the beds. But I just wanted to get rid of this stuff, and also these are good to amend the soil with anyways. So we'll do that. Like I said, bed 15 and 21, I want to do those two first. And if there's still dirt left over, we can do bed 16. There's still a jalapeno plant in there, but we're gonna pull that out. So we'll do that. The jalapenos can be harvested. I did a bunch today, but I'm even noticing, like, as I walk by, that's a good, oops, yeah, that's a good one. So just keep checking these. Keep picking the cherry tomatoes. These, every time I pick them I get mad because so many of them are split. So I think I mentioned this last time, harvest the split ones, weigh them so we know how much we've harvested, but then throw away the split ones and just send up the ones that are not split. I just harvested them today, so I don't even know if I can, oh yeah, like that one is already split. So I will not be planting these ever again because so many of them have split. We can also harvest the husk cherries. These are not looking amazing. I tried to amend the soil last week because they're so yellow, but we can still harvest them. The tomatoes, keep harvesting this bed. The shishitos, keep harvesting. This bed, number 8, I just planted some kohlrabi. The seeds said they don't germinate for 14 to 21 days, which is really long. So we want to keep this moist every day. If it hasn't rained, then just use the hose and spray it and get it good and soaked. I have some seeds set aside to plant in beds 15 and 21 if they get topped up, and I'll make a note of that. I'm going to send out the notes tonight. I won't have a chance to print them. Jane, I don't know if you watch these videos, but if you come on Monday and if you wouldn't mind printing out the handout, that would be awesome. Trying to think if there's anything else. Just keep watering. We'll have to just kind of keep an eye on what the weather is going to do. I have the irrigation right now set up for Sunday, and I'm going to go over there and see what other day, because it looks like there is a chance of rain next week, but nothing, it doesn't seem like for sure. So I think that's about it. I'll put some more info in the notes I send out. Oh, the swamp cooler is fixed. It's still really hot in there, I think just because it hasn't had a chance to cool it down yet. But hopefully by the time you guys come in next week, it'll be nice and cooled off. Make sure we're watering these cucumbers here and over there, and I'm actually going to do that now. If anybody needs anything to do, this area needs to be weeded around the bird bath and by the shed. I think that's it. Again, I'll be out of town, at least I'm planning to be right now, Monday through Wednesday, but I'll be back Thursday. But call or text me anytime, and I appreciate your help. Thanks, guys.